Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you part one of the 2016 SR4U Boot Awards. What I've done is I've created 15 different categories that are designed to highlight some of the best and worst boots of the year. And of course, all of these are my picks based on my opinions. Your opinions may be a little bit different, and feel free to share your opinions if they are different down below in the comment section of this video. Keep in mind as well that all of these picks are for shoes that released this year in 2016. Anything that released last year in 2015, even if it was still a current model this year, was not eligible to win anything. With that said, if you do want to see the 2015 Boot Awards, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen. You can go ahead and check out that video if you haven't seen it already. And without further ado, let's get into the 2016 SR4U Boot Awards. The best lightweight boot goes to the Nike Mercurial Vapor 11. Now this is a category where I think a lot of people perhaps would have selected the Superfly 5 instead of the Vapor, both being top-end models in the Mercurial line. But for me, if you're talking about the ultimate lightweight experience, the Vapor 11 is technically almost a full ounce lighter than the Superfly 5 in the same size, not to mention that it has a little bit of a tighter fit, mainly due to the Taitian synthetic upper, which is also thinner than what you're going to get on the Superfly 5. So as light as the Superfly is, the Vapor 11 feels that much lighter, that much tighter on your foot, and I would argue that much more responsive as well. So if you're really looking for that kind of barefoot plain experience from a shoe that feels very responsive on your feet and offers extremely good traction, I really feel like the Vapor 11 is your best option, and that's why it's my pick for the best lightweight boot of 2016. The best synthetic shoe of the year goes to the Nike Magista Obra 2. Now this is definitely one of the tougher categories to win, mainly because the majority of the new top-end models released this year were pretty much all synthetic. So with all that competition in mind, the reason why I picked the Obra 2 over everything else is because I was very impressed with what they were able to achieve from a comfort standpoint as well as a touch standpoint with this 3D textured Flyknit upper. Now what's interesting about the Flyknit material itself, and kind of the main reason why a lot of companies are going after knitted uppers right now, is because you can get that sock-like level of comfort and softness against your foot that a lot of people are into. I'm into it. I really think it is something that when executed properly offers a feel that you can't get from any other type of material. And they did that extremely well with the Obra 2. It has that very comfortable sock-like sensation. At the same time, the upper is on the thinner side, but using this texturing process that they've implemented within the material of the upper, you get this really interesting kind of dampened effect when you make contact with the ball. So the end result is a material that's relatively thin, doesn't feel bulky on your foot, allowing for really good ball feel when dribbling the ball, but upon kind of firmer contacts, receiving a pass, taking a shot, you get this little bit of a dampened effect from the texturing kind of flattening out on the upper itself, which allows you to have kind of the best of both worlds of something a little bit more padded and something a little bit thinner. It's something that I've really never experienced before on a soccer shoe, and an aspect of the Obra 2 that really impressed me. So for me, the best synthetic shoe of the year is the Nike Magista Obra 2. The best leather boot of the year goes to the Puma Evo Touch Pro. Now this is a very interesting shoe for multiple different reasons, but the fact that Puma launched this brand new silo using a knitted upper aspect that we haven't seen from the brand before, and also chose to incorporate a kangaroo leather upper, is a pretty bold move by the brand, and one that I'm not sure was the best decision in the long run for the success of this line, but the end result is a shoe that does perform extremely well and offers that sock-like level of comfort with its knitted upper, along with a quality premium feeling kangaroo leather upper. It is on the thinner side, but at the same time, it does have the softness and I guess leather-like quality you would expect from a high-end kangaroo leather shoe, and then it does have that soft sensation when you make contact with the ball. So as a kind of more modern take on something with a kangaroo leather upper, I think the Evo Touch Pro is a very solid option. Obviously, there are other leather shoes out there that are equally as good, or at least a little bit different than what you're going to get from the Evo Touch Pro. Given that I only included shoes that released in 2016, I couldn't pick the Legend 6. I still think that's a very good shoe, but again, in comparison to the Evo Touch Pro, it's also a very different beast. So again, for me, the best leather release of 2016 was the Puma Evo Touch Pro. The most unique shoe of 2016 goes to two different models, the Adidas X16 Plus Pure Chaos and the Puma Evo Touch Pro. Now with this category, there's a lot of shoes that definitely could have got this. The Obra 2, the Superfly, those are two that come to mind that were very unique. But given that they are kind of replacements of a concept that already existed, I chose not to give it to those shoes and rewarded shoes that, like I said, are kind of all new in terms of the design that they've implemented. So with the Evo Touch Pro, like I just talked about, it was a pretty bold design from Puma, a lot of firsts for the brand, mid-cut, knitted upper, kangaroo leather, no insole construction, very, very good shoe and very unique in terms of what it has on offer. It's difficult to compare it to anything else out there. With the Pure Chaos from Adidas, this is a shoe that really impressed me, mainly because they incorporated a lot of elements that don't usually work that well in a high-end product, mainly a lace cover, but they did so in a very kind of seamless, non-bulky way, which we've never seen before, at least I've personally never experienced. And then you have the internal tech fit system that works extremely well. The shoe is quite comfortable. It locks your foot in place really nicely. And again, given the unique design of this upper, it just worked a lot better than I was expecting, and I think is one of the best offerings from Adidas at the moment at the top end level. So for me, the two most unique shoes of 2016 are the Evo Touch Pro and the Pure Chaos X16 Plus. The best innovation of 2016 for me is the Nike Plate sole plate found on the Superfly 5 and the Mercurial Vapor 11. For those that don't know what it is, the sole plate is called the Nike Plate. I know it's a very appropriate name for Nike, very clever naming system, but nonetheless, it uses a special vacuum forming manufacturing process that allows them to make the sole plate entirely out of one layer of plastic material. Because of this, eliminating layers allows them to eliminate a lot of extra weight in the sole plate, making this the lightest sole plate we've ever seen on a Superfly or a Vapor. And also it allows them to add shape to the base of what would otherwise be a completely flat sole plate, as we see on pretty much every other shoe. So with this anatomic shaping, essentially there's little kind of I guess indents at the base of the sole in the heel, forefoot, and toe box area that allows your foot to sit ever so slightly into the base of the sole plate as opposed to directly on top of a flat surface. Now, because you're sitting slightly in the sole plate, you get a very connected sensation to the shoe. You sit a little bit lower to the ground, and also it doesn't allow your foot to slide from side to side on the top of that sole plate, which makes a tremendous difference when it comes to responsiveness. And again, just having that one-to-one reaction time, that connected sensation to the shoe itself. It's immediately noticeable when you put these on, and once you start running around making quick changes of direction, it's something that really made a much bigger difference than I was honestly expecting. It might sound like a little bit of a gimmicky thing, but this is honestly one of those new innovations that we saw in 2016 that makes a legitimate difference when it comes to performance and just the overall feel of the shoe, for the better, of course. So for me, the best innovation of 2016 is the Nike Plate sole plate. The most underrated shoe of the year has two winners, the Puma Evo Power 1.3 and the Adidas Ace 16.1, the standard synthetic upper variation, something that, again, did not get as much attention as the rest of the Ace 16 line, given the hype around the laceless Pure Control. So with the Puma Evo Power 1.3, this obviously was just the next generation Evo Power model, but it improved upon all previous models in my opinion, maintained the same kind of idea and concept with the Adapt-Lite synthetic and AccuFoam in the upper, but I think a fit and just general sensation to that upper that was better than all previous models. And then the new sole plate and stud pattern design I think was a lot better than previous models as well. There's just a lot on offer with the Evo Power 1.3, and it's just a shame that a lot of people did not give it a chance this year just because it didn't have the most attention around it. With the Ace 16.1, obviously this is from a very popular brand in Adidas. This is kind of the same concept that we saw originally from the first Ace model, the Ace 15.1. It uses the same material for the upper, but in a form factor that I think fits a lot better. The shoe overall is a little bit lighter than what we got from the Ace 15.1 as well, with the implementation of a sprint frame sole plate and heel counter. And again, it's just a really, really solid shoe that a lot of people did not pay attention to because most of the focus was on the prime knit variation. So for me, the two most underrated shoes of 2016, the Puma Evo Power 1.3 and the Ace 16.1 from Adidas. The best update of 2016 goes to the Hypervenom Phantom 2 version 2 and the Hypervenom Finish version 2, essentially a low cut and mid cut of the exact same top end model. Now, I'm sure you guys know the drama behind this change-up in the Hypervenom line. The second generation of Hypervenom launched. It featured a much different Nike skin upper than what we saw from the original Phantom, and about a year after that, they decided to change the upper, reverting back to a more original style honeycomb mesh Nike skin upper, kind of like what we saw on the original Phantom 1. This change to me was tremendous for, I guess, the overall quality of the shoe, the wearability of the shoe. While the original Nike skin upper that they implemented on the first versions of the Finish and Phantom 2 weren't unwearable, it's something that a lot of people really didn't like, including myself. So when they went back to an upper style that was more along the lines of what we got from the Phantom 1, a shoe that a lot of people really liked, I was personally very happy about that change, and a lot of people were as well. I just think it makes the shoe a lot better in terms of comfort as well as overall performance. And again, it's a really good update. So for me, the Phantom 2 version 2 and the Finish version 2 are the best updates of 2016. All right, guys, that is the end of part 1 of the 2016 SR4U Boot Awards. If you want to check out part 2, there'll be a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. If you have any questions or just general comments regarding any of my picks in this video, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed this video, want to see more, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.